We're back at it again with another Battlefront update. DICE removing diapers from the game, new Clone Commando details, hero buffs, the community calendar for September released, and even multiple new hero skins and, well, even a new hero teased by DICE. All in this week of Battlefront 2 news. Suffice to say, we've got yet another info-packed news update for you all today that should be a good warm-up for even bigger and better things to be coming out next week. And then right after that, the release of the very anticipated September update. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. To start things out, we'll quickly be taking a look at the September community calendar that DICE put out to the world yesterday. It should be noted that the calendar itself was delayed as it was originally expected to be coming out the first week of September, rather than the second. So because of that, we already have gone through and finished the first event for September, which was the Reinforcement and Vehicles Battle Point event. However, the new event coming up is also a Battle Point focused event called Boots on the Ground, where from the 13th to the 15th, no vehicles or heroes will be playable in Galactic Assault or Capital Supremacy. Only troopers and reinforcements will be available to spawn… wait a minute, reinforcements? Last time I checked, heroes and vehicles are reinforcements too, yet here DICE doesn't classify them as that. While in previous events they did. Okay, weird flex there, DICE, but you really need to stay consistent with your own game lingo here, okay? I'm pretty sure Kevin Johnson, who did this graphic, meant reinforcement units rather than reinforcements as a whole, so just want to put that out there. Anyways, I like these events overall, as they're a nice change of pace from the usual hero-infested games. So it's a different feeling to only playing with troopers in a large-scale map from time to time. The people who do love heroes will probably stay clear of this event and spend their weekend in HVV mode if anything. But after that, from the 20th to the 22nd, we have yet another Battle Point event, called No Match for a Good Blaster. Staying true to the whole trooper-only theme, in this event, players will only be allowed to use blaster-carrying heroes. So no need to worry about the likes of Anakin or Grievous cramping up your style in the game. Then on September 25th is the release date for the September update, which of course brings the online co-op mode, offline instant action, Clone Commando reinforcements, and the brand new map of Felucia for Capital Supremacy and instant action. Then to end things off, from the 27th to the 29th, DICE will be having a triple XP event in co-op mode, which is basically an incentive to get people to try out the mode. I'm sure most people will want to give it a test run to merely see what's what in that mode, and if finishing games and gaining XP in general is very easy and quick in co-op, then I don't see any reason for people not wanting to take advantage of this event. Next up, DICE today dropped the community transmission for the Clone Commandos, which of course are coming to the game on the 25th. We got the Commando transmission today, and we're getting the Felucia CT next week. However, the Commando transmission itself isn't very long, and for the most part recycles the same information that was given to us in August's massive long transmission. So if you want to hear the Clone Commando information again, I suggest checking out that video I did on it before, as I'd rather not keep repeating the same information from our previous video. This transmission, however, did give us some new updates regarding the Clone Commando since August. Because as most of you are aware, DICE did have people over at Gamescom playtest the Commando. And while everyone had for the most part good things to say about it, there were some small tweaks and the such that it could have benefited from. So according to DICE, here are those improvements they've made to Clone Commando since Gamescom. Number 1 being that they added the repulsor gadget to the Clone Commando's arm now, further improvements and refinements to the abilities, added a first version of a passive messaging system that shows allies and enemies that the battle focus buff is active, general balance tweaks, updated icons for battle focus and repulsor, and tweaked default look with details added to key areas. Okay, so the sounds of it, DICE have listened to all the feedback on the Clone Commandos and have done a pretty good job in taking action there. The ability icons are better, the abilities themselves are more refined, And DICE have even removed the diaper look for the Clone Commandos too. Whoa, I remember when I included that quick small diaper segment in that video where some people didn't quite understand and saw no problem with the diaper look overall. However, it's clear from this that DICE did in fact see it as a problem and have made the proper corrections. And yes, that last point is referring to the diapers, as Benoit himself admitted over on Reddit that tweaking key areas was the best way he can think of in wording it, rather than saying something like, "Oh, hey guys, we listened to the feedback and the Clone Commando butts look way better now, hope you like them," you know, that wouldn't work. Now, despite this transmission not being very informative and lacking in minor details, fortunately for you, we found a few more stuff that DICE missed out on addressing. For starters, yes, the Clone Commandos will be an Enforcer class. They'll also have their Vibroblade as their melee attack, which back in Gamescom it didn't deal any additional damage that a normal melee attack couldn't do. However, it's possible that DICE's general balancing tweaks could have fixed that part up. As for all those folks wondering if Clone Commandos will have their first-person view or not, then the answer to that is unfortunately no. Benoit did of course give the community an explanation for the decision in not including first-person view as the following. We'll be brutally honest, it's a lot of work for something very few people use. We always try to be strategic when allocating our resources. Not to say it's not important, but the harsh realities of game development means we're making this type of decision all the time. Do we want our animators working on first-person view, or should they be working on new reinforcements? We're going to make somebody unhappy with whatever choice we take, which is unfortunate, but we will always try to take the option we feel is best. And what can I say, it's a very honest explanation there by Ben, and based on their small team size, I completely understand why they didn't implement first person for Commandos. Sure, it would have been pretty cool, but as he says, in the end, the resources allocated there would not be justified for how few people would actually use it. Maybe at first a lot would try it for the novelty and all, but later on majority of people will likely opt for third person because of the obvious advantages that option brings. Again, it's a shame, but it's understandable. Next, Benoit did chime in a conversation within the community on how much Leia needs a buff in the game, where he brought some good news in saying, Leia is on the cards for some tweaks, but we don't have any ETA right now. And anyone who has been playing with the light-sided heroes a lot will tell you that Leia has been in the dumpster tier for over a year now. The constant buffs to sabers, increase in rolls being inconsistent, and the general bugs that give lightsaber heroes the advantage have really hurt her a lot. Many in the community do see Leia struggling to compete against other heroes, and DICE have ignored her in terms of buffing, for what it seems like forever now. Fortunately, Ben's words give confirmation that DICE is well aware of this, and have now a buff in store for her. But at this moment in time, it doesn't seem like they're sure themselves if this Leia buff will be included in the September update or not, and worst case might be delayed to October instead. However, for the time being, Leia mains can rest a little easy knowing their life in the game will be made eventually a bit easier. And speaking about delays to October, but remember that Luke Skywalker A New Hope event appearance that was scheduled to happen in September? Well, it turns out we're going to have to wait a little longer for it than originally anticipated, as Benoit confirmed that the Luke Skywalker Community Challenge will now be set for October, but DICE will talk about it in September. So yeah, it's still going to happen, just not now, but later. And Ben also admitted that because of Gamescom, DICE did end up misplacing it, so that's the reason for all of this now. And while this isn't the best news and all, I know, because we're gonna have to wait longer now to unlock it, that doesn't necessarily mean we won't be finding out this month on what that Luke skin will exactly look like. As Ben stated, the Luke skin will be included in the September update, where he suspects it will of course get data mined and the community will be able to get an early look at the skin. Which, to remind everyone, as of right now we still have no clue on what this Luke skin will look like, other than it's gonna be an outfit he wore in A New Hope, which, considering he wore several during that movie alone, it seems we'll have to wait until the skin is data mined for this mystery to be finally solved. With that said, there's also a good chance that this won't be the only new hero skin coming to the game, As on Reddit, when one person voiced their displeasure of the Luke skin being the only new hero skin between now and December, Ben answered with a one-word response, "Oh?" And if you've been following the game for a long while now, then you've surely caught on by now on how Ben tends to tease things, with this being a good example of that. He's obviously not allowed to say, "Hey fam, don't worry, we've got more hero skins coming right up after Luke." So yeah, this is the best he can do without getting in trouble. As for what those hero skins could be, then it's anyone's guess. Maybe a New Hope version of Han Solo or another Luke skin for Bespin. Either way, the Luke and New Hope skin certainly won't be the last hero skin we're gonna be getting. And while on that subject of teases, but one DICE developer had no issues in subtly teasing that the studio has a brand new hero or heroes currently in the works. This DICE developer is Harvey Newman, who's the lead animator for Heroes in Battlefront 2. During an interview with one of the Game Changers and Gamescom, Newman spoke about his experiences in animating all the heroes that are currently in the game. However, at the end of the interview, he said that he's currently working on something that should be equally as good as the current heroes in the game, if not better. Just right now, he's not allowed to talk about it due to a company NDA. And considering the majority of his work has been of lightsaber heroes, it's very possible this could be another one of those. Especially when he compares this new hero or heroes to the likes of Dooku and his lightsaber. So who could this new hero or heroes be? Ahsoka and Ventress, or maybe a brand new hero made for Rise of Skywalker like Knight of Ren or something like that. Personally, I'm still sitting comfy with the belief that Newman is referring to Ahsoka and Ventress, which we know from previous leaks are currently in the works over at DICE. And what's also pretty interesting is that the EA Star Wars Twitter account decided to retweet this interview on their page, which, considering out of all the material they could have retweeted that's currently out on the game, you gotta admit that it's amusing that they picked this one that teases new heroes. So they without a doubt do want the community to know that new heroes are indeed coming. Just what are these new heroes and when are they coming? Well, that's a whole other topic for another video. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.